Welcome back, third grade. Obviously, once again today I'm going to be using this screencast. You can't see me again, but my pen seems to work better on it, so I think you'd rather see my pen than see me. So that's what we're stuck with again today. So we are in the last lesson of Unit 12. So this is, with our series, this is our last chapter, our last lesson of our series. It doesn't mean we're done with the work for the school year, but it does mean that we are finishing up all the things that we need to get through before the end of the year. But we have a lot more work to go, and also there's some things that I need to teach you that have not actually been covered in the book. So don't think that you're done for the year, but it will kind of help understand what we're going to be doing today. Because we've spent this entire unit learning about shapes, polygons, quadrilaterals, all their attributes. And this lesson just kind of seems like it's just thrown in here at the very end. It doesn't seem to go with the quadrilaterals or the polygons. It's more about fractions and area. It is something that we need to learn in third grade, and obviously the owners of the book needed to put it somewhere. So they kind of jammed it in here in the last lesson of the last unit. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to guide you through it. I think you're going to understand it. I think you understand fractions very well. I also think you understand area very well. You had a really good teacher who guided you through that. So I know that you remember. I know it's in your long-term memory. And I know we're going to be fine. So if it seems like this one's a little bit different than the other ones, it is. They had to put it somewhere. So here it is. And as we've done in the other days, we're going to kind of jump around. We are not going to do every question. You're not going to have all the materials you need for all of them. So, for example, on page 747, it says that we need pattern blocks, colored pencils, and a ruler. We're not going to do this because you probably don't have pattern blocks at home. I don't want you running around looking for colored pencils and rulers. All right, I can teach this lesson to you and get the gist of it without doing this first activity. All right, so we're going to skip all the way to page 748, and that's where we're going to start our lesson. All right, and we're going to start connecting some of our polygons and our quadrilateral knowledge with some things that we've learned earlier. All right, we're going to guide you through here the first part of this lesson, making the connection here with this shape at the right here. All right, so let's kind of read through this. The rectangle at the right is divided into 4 parts with equal area. All right, so there's 4 parts and they all have equal area. Now you might look at that and say, well, they're not the same, Mr. Klaus. They're not. They are not the same shape, but they do all have equal area. All right, and if you're able to remember what area is, you can look through there and figure it out pretty quickly. All right, so what is the area of each shape? All right, and I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, I'll hold on to that. Hang on to that answer. The first bullet says, write the fraction that names each part of the divided whole. All right, so now we have to refer back to our fraction knowledge. How many parts are there? There's 1, 2 parts. This purple one's the 3rd part. And this light colored one is the 4th part. So how many parts do we have? We have 4. All right. So what is a unit fraction? If there's 4 parts, if the unit fraction would be each part, which would be 1/4. 1/4. All right. Now obviously your answer, I should have put it up here, because that's how I taught you how to do it. Remember, we don't use the blue line as the fraction line. All right. Let me get rid of that. Then it's gone. All right. So there are 4 parts. So the unit fraction is 1/4. The unit fraction always has 1 as a numerator. 1/4, 1/3, 1/2, 1/8, 1/millionth, whatever it might be. All right. Oh, I didn't want to get rid of that. I'm going to answer here 1/4 again, the best I can. I know it's small. All right. So what is the area of each part? All right, so here we have our square units. The area of each part, we just have to count the squares. If I count those squares, each one is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can go through and dot all these, but I think you understand the point here. They're all going to have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Although they're not the same shape, they all have the same area. So what is the area? 5. Now those of you who remember areas, you're thinking, well, Mr. Klaus, that's not correct. It is 5, but you're missing something. 5 units squared. That's right. Area is squarea. Very good. Now, we don't know the unit. It doesn't tell us whether it's centimeters, inches, feet, yards, miles, whatever. All right, so whenever we don't know the unit and it's unknown, we use the U. All right. How many 1/4 parts does it take to make a whole? So how many 1/4 parts did it take? All right, that kind of goes back to what we did earlier. Let me get rid of my dots here. How many 1/4 parts? So we're thinking back to our fractions. How many 1/4 parts to make a whole? 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts. So how many 4? It takes 4 parts. Is the shape of each of the 1/4 parts the same? Is the shape the same? We kind of talked about it. No. The shape is not the same. Although they have the same area, they're not the same shape. They're not the same shape. And the last question. Is the area of the 1/4 parts the same? Explain how you know. Is the area of the same? Alright, let's go. We already talked about this. I'm not going to write it down with my pen. It'll take me a really long time and you'll get bored and probably fall asleep. But if you're going to explain this, the area is the same. They all have 5 units squared. And I explained that, I counted the area of each shape, and the area of each shape is 5. That's how I know. I counted the squares. By counting the squares, I can prove that the area is the same of all those shapes. So that's kind of what we're doing today. It kind of has something to do with quadrilaterals because we are using a quadrilateral to break that up. But it's really focusing on reviewing area and reviewing fractions and kind of piecing it all together. See how I did that? Piecing it all together. Oh, stop it. I know I'm funny. You guys stop it. Alright, let's scroll on down here. Let's see what's next. Alright, so now you're going to get to work a little bit. Alright, I did a lot of the work. Well, actually, I did all the work on the first one. Time for you guys to get to work. Alright, so the first one, it says, draw lines to divide the rectangle below into 6 parts with equal area. Alright, 6 parts with equal area. I'm going to have you guys try this before I actually show it. Alright, I want you guys to really think about this. So, think about the steps. What are you going to have to do to divide this into 6 parts with equal area? This is good. That's a great question. All right, so remember, it's okay if you are frustrated. It's okay if it doesn't come to you right away. And it's okay if you do this and you're totally wrong. Remember our growth mindset. It is perfectly wrong to get things right. It's perfectly okay to get things wrong. All right? It's perfectly okay. It's part of this frustration, part of the growth process. We don't grow unless we get some things wrong. All right, so give it a shot. Draw some lines to divide the rectangle into 6 parts, and all parts have to have equal area. Good luck. Go. Oh, press pause too. Alright, so hopefully you press pause and you're not just sitting at home waiting for me to do all the work. Alright, I know some of you are sitting at home and said, if I don't press pause, Mr. Klaus is just going to show me how to do it. Alright, if that's the case, then you're not going to grow very much with our online lessons. Alright, make sure you are practicing, trying it on your own, so that when I come back on, that we can see whether or not you got it correctly. Alright, this is my process of solving this. Alright, I'm going to draw the lines to divide the rectangle into 6 parts. Now, this might not be the way that you do it, but this is the way that I solved it. And we know that math has many, many different paths to the same answer. So my path does not need to be your path. I don't have enough time on my screencast to go over every path. So I'm just going to go over my path. All right? So the first thing I did was I found the area. 1, I counted the blocks. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I found the area. Area equals 24 units squared. Alright. Now I know some of you are out there who are like, Mr. Klaus, I took a shortcut. I remembered that A equals L times W. Well, great. You know that the width here is 3 and that the length is 2, 4, 6, 8. And you took the shortcut that 3 times 8 is 24. Great job of having that formula into your long-term memory. All right. So now, what do I do now? I know that the area is 24, and I want to divide that into 6 equal parts. I'm going to take 24, and I'm going to divide it into 6 equal parts. So all of you, all that work on reflex, all those math facts that we've been working on, if I know this fact family, I can come up with this answer. 6 times what is 24? Or I can sing my song. Oh, I think that I found a way to count by 6, 12, 18, 24. Okay, it took 4 6s to get to 24. So I know 24 divided by 6 equals 4. So why is that important? Mr. Klaus, why did you do that? Why did you do the division problem? Great question. This is why I did it. Because if my area is 24, and I want to divide it into 6 equal parts, 6 equal parts, oh no, I did not want to do that. Is there an undo button? Boom! All right, fantastic. I don't want to erase everything. There we go. So why did I divide it? I know that if I have 24, an area of 24, divided into 6 equal parts, that each part has to have 4 squares. All right? So then I can just divide mine up into 4 squares. Here's 4 squares. Here's 4 squares. Here's 4 squares. Here's 4 squares. And then up here I have 4 squares up top, 4 squares on the bottom. So I just divided this into 6 equal parts. Now maybe you look different. Maybe yours is not. You should, if you did it correctly, you'll have 4 parts in each one. All right, 4 blocks in each part. So write the fraction that names each part of the divided whole. So I have 1 part, 2 part, 3 parts. Once again, sorry for my writing. 4 parts. This part up here is 5. This part up here is 6. So I have 6 parts. What fraction that names each part of the whole? They are each 1/6 of the whole. Write the area of each part. This is what we figured out right here. The area of each part is 4 units squared. All right? And each part is blank of the whole's shape's area. Each part is 1/6. Each part is 1/6. So that's a pretty high-level question that we need to be able to solve. So hopefully you had a chance to work through it, try it out. If you were right or wrong, I'm not that concerned, as long as you understand how we got the answer after you did it. All right. Now with this program, I can only do a 15-minute section, so I'm gonna take a break there. I'm gonna come back in. We're gonna do the rest of the lesson where you do more of the work instead of me talking the entire time. So I'm gonna go right back down in Schoology to the lesson underneath it, and we are going to pick right up off where we left. See you soon.